Welcome to KMUZ Theatre Talk. I'm your host, Ed Schoaps, bringing you news and in-depth interviews about plays and auditions happening at theaters throughout the mid-Willamette Valley. My guests on today's program are director John Hamilton and actor Reese Madden from Galle Theater's production of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, Tom Stoppard's comic tale of two minor characters searching for meaning as the events of Shakespeare's Hamlet unfold around them. But first, let's check the KMUZ Theatre Talk calendar for news about shows and auditions happening at your favorite mid-Willamette Valley theaters. McMinnville and Newburgh area theaters at Galle Theater in downtown McMinnville, playing April 17th through May 3rd at Galle is Tom Stoppard's celebrated tragicomedy Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, directed by John Hamilton. Winner of a Tony Award for Best Play, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead turns the spotlight on two minor characters from Shakespeare's Hamlet as they navigate a confusing world filled with riddles, mistaken identities, and philosophical puzzles. Later in today's program, we'll hear lots more about Stoppard's existential masterwork from director John Hamilton and actor Reese Madden. From May 15th through 24th at Galle is David Ives' All in the Timing, a fast-paced and hilarious collection of short plays that explore language, logic, love, and the absurdity of human communication. The 6 witty, intelligent short plays in this collection are directed by Beck Hazel, Joseph Hunter, Karen Root, and Soren Smithrud. On the Galle Theater call board, sign up now to audition for Steel Magnolias by Robert Harling and directed by Leslie Iman, happening by appointment on May 8th and 9th at Galle Theater. Steel Magnolias follows a tightly knit group of women as they navigate life's joys, griefs, and unexpected challenges. The show runs July 24th through August 16th. For show information, tickets, and to sign up for auditions, go to gallerytheater.org and Facebook. At the Greater Salem area theaters, at Center Stage Theatrics in Salem, applications are open for counselor positions at the 5th Annual Camp Center Stage, returning this summer from July 26th through August 6th on the forested shoulders of Mount Hood. For more information and to apply to be a counselor at Camp Center Stage, go to centerstagetheatrics.org and their Facebook page. At Children's Educational Theater in Salem, there's only a few spots open for elementary and high school students for CET's inclusive and dynamic 5-week summer program exploring performance and technical theater arts. And there's a wait list open for middle schoolers. CET offers over 30 classes for more than 200 students, including acting, music, dance, technical theater, stage combat, improvisation, and more. CET's summer program is extremely popular, so enroll your kids now so they don't miss out. For more information and to register your kids for the 2026 CET summer program, go to cetsalem.org and see their Facebook page. Effin' Artist is a new production company here in Salem working to transform theater and film work for artists and the Mid-Valley through the power of storytelling. Opening the Effin' Artist season, May 21st through 30th, is Drag Me to the West, written by Lex Bolsinger. This new musical brings together the elements of drag ballroom, lip-syncing, live singing, dance, and fabulous glamour. The show takes you on a journey through the West with 4 unlikely travelers. Check out the KMUZ Theatre Talk podcast for my conversation with founder Lex Bolsinger about Effin' Artist Productions. At Kaiser Homegrown Theater, on stage through April 26th is Playing Doctor by Billy Van Zandt and Jane Milmore. Check out the KMUZ Theatre Talk podcast for my interview with director Jeremy Clubb about this fast-paced farce about Robert Brewster, who's either a doctor or not a doctor, depending on whether you're his parents or his friends. On the Kaiser Homegrown call board, open auditions for William Goldman's Misery are coming up April 25th at the theater. Actors must pre-register for movement auditions that start at 10 a.m., followed by cold reading auditions from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. Misery is directed by Jeff Minden and plays October 8th through 25th. To sign up for auditions and for show information and tickets, go to kaiserhomegrowntheater.org and their Facebook page. At Pentacle Theater in Salem, running May 8th through 30th, is the Lost Virginity Tour, a warm comedy about friendship, heartache, regrets, and first loves. When four lady friends start swapping stories about their first time, one of them has a great idea to take a road trip across the country, revisiting the places where each lost their virginity. The Lost Virginity Tour is directed by Karen McCarty. On the Pentacle Theater call board, auditions for the Neil Simon comedy Rumors are happening April 18th at Pentacle's Rehearsal Studio at 197 Liberty Street Southeast in downtown Salem. It's directed by Robert Barnett and runs June 26th through July 18th. See the PentacleTheater.org website and Facebook page for show and audition information. Struts and Frets Theater Company will present Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, August 6th through 9th and 13th through 15th at the Main Street Park Stage in Monmouth. See the Struts and Frets Facebook page and Instagram pages for more show information. Theater 33's Summer Festival 2026 at Willamette University has announced their 2026 lineup. The shows include Lights in the Sky by Ricky Zipp, a political satire about the blindness of power and the violent choice that human beings decide to make. Pull by Sarah Jean Arcardi. A group of teachers attend a gun safety training program designed for educators planning to arm themselves in the classroom. Bewitch by Rob Smith. All Kendra has ever wanted is to be a witch. Sadly, her magic, with a K, doesn't make for the most solid career. And this summer's Theater 33 Festival pop-up plays include Crumbs or Migas by Rebecca Torino Collingsworth. 15 years after two hungry children are orphaned during a Latin American coup, they return, a modern-day Hansel and Gretel, to follow what migas they can in search of their father. Prodigies by Brooke Bethel. When a new talented competitor appears at an annual youth piano contest, four other students question their own competency and ability to keep up with the growing demands of being a prodigy. Majnun by Layli Rohani. Nearly a year after her mother passed, Asal is depressed, fed up, and still grieving. She decides to finish a painting she's been working on since her mother's death, only to find it has taken on a life of its own. Majnun is a story of family grief and finding our way to lost loves. Con by Curtis Fry. As the first constitutional convention since the original descends on Washington, D.C., the city transforms into a high-stakes shit show. See the Theater 33 Facebook page and the Theater33.org website to reserve your Summer Festival 2026 tickets. For the Staten and Silverton area theaters, at Brush Creek Playhouse in Silverton, Let Him Sleep Until It's Time for His Funeral is on stage through April 19th at Brush Creek. In this crazy farce, John's anxious about turning 50 and having done nothing with his life. So his loving wife decides to show him he's wrong by hosting a surprise funeral instead of a birthday party. What could possibly go wrong? This delightful mess is directed by Alan Drake. Go to brushcreekplayhouse.org and Facebook for show information and tickets. At Spotlight Community Theater in downtown Staten, next up is Robin Hood and Other Adventurously Funny Stories, playing April 24th through May 3rd. This fun evening for all ages is directed by Shannon Rempel. For show information and tickets, see Spotlight's Facebook page and spotlightct.com. For the Albany and Corvallis area theaters, at Albany Civic Theater On stage at ACT, April 17th through May 9th, is Gilbert and Sullivan's comic operetta, The Pirates of Penzance, directed in steampunk style by Christy Sears. And on the Albany Civic Theater call board, auditions for Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream are 7 to 9 p.m. April 20th through 22nd at Albany Civic. The show runs July 10th through 25th and is directed by Arlene Olson. For audition details, show information, and tickets, go to albanycivic.org and Facebook. The Mid-Valley Musical Theater in Albany is hosting auditions for their summer musical, Guys and Dolls, coming up on June 6th through 7th. The show runs August 6th through 15th at the Albany Performing Arts Center. For audition details, show information, and tickets, go to mvmtheater.org and Facebook. At the Majestic Theater in Corvallis, Legally Blonde the Musical will play on the Majestic stage from May 1st through 17th. Elle Woods charms her way into Harvard Law School and proves wrong the peers and professors who think she doesn't belong. This popular musical is directed by Ruth Mansager. That's followed May 20th through 30th by Tiny Beautiful Things, based on the best-selling book by Cheryl Strayed and adapted for the stage by Nia Vardalos. It's directed by Lee Matthews Bach. For show information, tickets, and audition details, go to majestic.org. At the Mid-Valley Colleges and Universities, Chemeketa Community College's Theater Under the Stars is staging the rock musical Mean Girls with book by Tina Fey, lyrics by Neil Benjamin, and music by Jeff Richmond, July 7th through 12th at the Jerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. This popular Broadway hit musical is directed by Stephen Munshaw. At Western Oregon University in Monmouth, The Language of Angels by Naomi Izuka and directed by Risa Fleming comes to the Black Box Theater in the WOU Math and Nursing Building May 27th through 31st. For show information and tickets, go to the wou.edu theater page or their Facebook page. At Willamette University Theater in Salem, Room of Forgotten Souls, inspired by the haunting discovery of thousands of unclaimed remains at the Oregon State Hospital, plays April 16th through 25th. Created by the ensemble, it explores themes of memory, loss, and recognition, and investigates society's relationship with mental illness through the hospital's attempts to make uniform the canisters that stored the ashes. But because of water damage, the canisters began to change in unique ways, as if the people were fighting to be recognized as individuals. Room of Forgotten Souls is directed by Jonathan Cole. For show information and tickets, go to wutheater.com and their Facebook page. For the Mid-Valley High Schools, South Albany High School is on Facebook at SAHS Theater, and Little Women, the one-act version, adopted by Marisha Chamberlain, plays May 8th through 16th at the Monteith House in downtown Albany. Tickets are limited, so go to redhawkstheater.ludus.com before they are gone. Central High School in Independence is on Facebook and at chsperformingarts.net. Central's spring musical is Mean Girls, the high school version, on stage through April 25th. Tickets are available for evening and matinee performances by going to chsperformingarts.net. And Dallas High School is at dhstheater.org and on Facebook at Dallas High School Thespians. And the Robert Louis Stevenson adventure tale Treasure Island comes to the DHS stage May 7th through 9th. For the Salem area high schools, McKay High School is on Facebook at McKay Thespians. The Harry Potter-inspired show Puffs runs there May 15th through 23rd. And at McNary High School, which is on Facebook at Ken Collins Theater, Stephen Sondheim's storybook musical Into the Woods will be on the Ken Collins stage May 13th through 16th. Tickets are on sale now. See the McNary High School Facebook page for show information. North Salem High School is on Facebook at NSHS Theater. Student-directed one-acts are on stage there April 23rd through 25th, and Pride and Prejudice will close the North Salem season May 14th through 23rd. South Salem High School is on Facebook and Instagram at Saxon Drama, and their spring play is Clue, High School Edition, on stage April 29th through May 2nd in the Rose Theater at South High. At Sprague High School, their student-directed spring show is the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, running May 7th through 9th. And that's followed by a one-act festival May 14th through 16th at Sprague. And West Salem High School is at westsalemdrama.com and on Facebook at West Salem Drama Department. Their spring play is The Great Gatsby, and it runs April 29th through May 1st. And that's a wrap for today's KMUZ Theatre Talk calendar. If your Mid-Willamette Valley Theater has a play or audition coming up that's not on our calendar, please let us know at kmuztheatretalk@gmail.com. Joining me after the break are director John Hamilton and actor Reese Madden from Galle Theater's production of Tom Stoppard's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. That's headed your way right after this. Hey, it's Ed Schoaps here, host of KMUZ Theatre Talk. I know you love hearing about shows and auditions at your favorite Mid-Willamette Valley theaters, or you wouldn't be listening to KMUZ Theatre Talk right now. That's why I'm asking you to go to kmuz.org today and hit the donate button to support KMUZ Theatre Talk and your all-volunteer, commercial-free, nonprofit community radio station. Help us keep the lights on and the transmitter humming. Make a one-time donation or become a monthly sustaining donor, whatever fits your budget, at kmuz.org. And thanks a million for supporting KMUZ FM and KMUZ Theatre Talk. The great English playwright Tom Stoppard passed away in November, which is really sad for me. He's one of my favorite British playwrights, and I really became enamored with his work in the early 1970s when I saw a production of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which was one of the first plays he wrote. And if you're not familiar with Tom Stoppard, besides other plays like Arcadia and screenplays for films like Brazil and Empire of the Sun, he also wrote the screenplay for Shakespeare in Love. You know, this guy gets compared to Shakespeare all the time, and there's a good reason for that. And I think it's a really good reason that we are talking today with the director of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is playing at the Galle Theater later this month, and actor Reese Madden, who joined me here on KMUZ Theatre Talk. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for having us. Hi.
Hey, listen, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. Why? These guys are minor characters in a great Shakespeare play called Hamlet. Why did Tom Stoppard write this play?
Who knew they were so important?
Yeah, really, who knew?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun of taking a classic story and viewing it through a new lens. And we see a lot of these kind of stories nowadays. They're kind of in vogue. Like we have Wicked from the Wicked Witch's perspective. But yeah, that he settled on these two minor characters that even fans of Hamlet may have forgotten about. That is kind of what makes this such a fun story.
Well, do Rosencrantz and Guildenstern even appear in Hamlet?
They do. They appear in a couple of scenes, and while they're not crucial to the overall plot, you could probably describe Hamlet without ever once bringing up Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. But in terms of the events of the story, they do help push the story along, being Hamlet's old friends from school, trying to figure out what's going on in his life as he's suffering from the loss of his father, probably going mad. And whether intentionally or not, they get aligned with the villain of the piece, his uncle Claudius. And this play really breaks down, were they really in cahoots this whole time, or were they just, products of circumstance?
Well, Reese Madden, as an actor in this show playing Rosencrantz, what is it that drew you to auditions for this show? Why choose this one? What is it about this character that you really love?
Well, I think initially anything having to do with Shakespeare, put me in the front row. I want to see that. I want to be a part of that. So anything Shakespeare adjacent as well, highly interested in. The character of Rosencrantz, first look was just how challenging this play is in its absurdist nature, and really a good stretch for me as an actor.
The last play that I saw you in at Gallery was Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, where you played one of my favorite characters. And now here you've got a turn in an absurdist comedy. A lot of people would say that Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is a comedy. He's said it a lot. What for you is the same and what for you is different on stage between these two shows?
Playing the moment, really committing yourself to the moment, is definitely something that's the same. Virginia Woolf required a lot of focus to stay really present. And in the exact same way, this play requires a ton of focus as well. Virginia Woolf, you have got these four characters holding the attention of the audience for almost 3 hours in one setting, in one room. And in many ways, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, they exist in a few different spaces, but they are still, it's up to them to really hold the attention of the audience for great lengths of the play. We really never leave the stage. Another thing would be a bathroom break. in Virginia Woolf was always much needed with all the drinking. And then in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, there's only one moment where we can step off the stage. So...
Well, you have a very talented co-conspirator on the stage playing Guildenstern, and that's Delaney Sump. Tell me a little bit about how it is to work with Delaney on this show.
Yeah. Delaney's brilliant. She is such a whiz with the memorization and very accurate in her work. Very, very specific. She brings a background in improvisation, which is really, really wonderful. And when we get out there and we get comfortable with one another and we start playing, we have a lot of fun, and that's can't be missed by the audience.
John, what have you been looking for with the characters of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern as you've gone through rehearsal? And what have you discovered that you didn't think of at first?
One thing that kept popping up throughout the script are those extended stretches of quick banter. There's really a rhythm and a pace to their dialogue when it's just the two of them. We had a day where we were watching Who's on First, Abbott and Costello, and talking about other great comedic duos of the vaudeville era, because there's definitely that dynamic that is being played with those two characters. You definitely have the more optimistic, foolish side and the more straight-laced, pessimistic side. And once you find the harmony of the dialogue between those two characters, you really need you look to the greats for comparison there.
Is there something that you look forward to, John, in rehearsal every night? Is there a scene or a moment, either with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern as a duo or with other characters in this show, that you look forward to?
Oh, for sure. I would say my favorite scene, it comes in the first half of the story where they've just been introduced to Hamlet's world, really. They've just briefly met the main characters, and they're trying to figure out what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to go about their goal of connecting with Hamlet. And they start, speaking of improvisation, they play kind of a theater game of questions only, which is very fun. That's a very fun rapid fire bit, which then segues into them pretending to be the other characters to kind of role play, meeting Hamlet for the first time and how should they act. And I just think that it's a long stretch of just two characters talking, but it's so dynamic. And it really intrigues me every time that scene comes up.
Well, Reese, at this moment that John mentioned really tickled you. Why is that?
Well, just the idea that these characters, man, they are really just desperate to make some sense out of anything. Who they are, what they're doing, and how they're supposed to be doing it. They ask really poignant questions. Who are we? Where did it all begin? Where's it going to end? So yeah, they try and do some dissecting with some games. And I think it leaves Rosencrantz maybe a little more confused at times.
But these are the kinds of things that actors do all the time. I think you're sitting in the audience and you see a couple of minor players come on stage and they have a few lines and they're off. Mm-hmm. But the actors that are playing those characters, we all know this as actors and directors, there's time spent on what's the backstory? Why are they there? What do they want out of that scene, right? And so Stoppard brings that actually to the forefront.
Yeah, there's this concept, every entrance is an exit, or every exit is an entrance, and kind of knowing your character before they step onto the stage and what are they doing afterwards. What surprised me about the story the first time that it happened was I was expecting a full, rich life that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are leading, and the moment they step off the stage, they are just completely lost. They need something to grab onto. It's like they've just stepped into an alternate universe almost, which is really fun to play with.
So what are we watching? Are we watching the time off stage or are we watching the time on stage? That's a question of this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we really are trying to challenge the audience a bit to kind of be in their shoes. What would you do if you were suddenly thrown into a play and you didn't have the lines beforehand? You're just trying to keep up with the story as you go.
It's interesting you say that, John, because several years ago I did The Actor's Nightmare, and George Spelvin finds himself in that situation as well, where he's lost.
Yeah, well, that's I was going to ask that same question. It's like this is the actor's nightmare. I mean,
yeah.
Reese, have you ever woken up in the middle of the night thinking, "Oh my God, it's opening night in 3 weeks, and I don't know my lines," or it's like, "Oh wait, I'm not in a play now."
Totally.
Yeah, that sort of stuff happens. So, John, this is an absurdist play. Mm-hmm. What exactly does that mean? What should the audience look for in this show that they won't see in Hamlet, besides the crazy humor?
The audience, like right out the gate, should expect to feel a little lost by design. We follow the characters as they discover things. So there's going to be a lot of times where the audience might be like, where are they supposed to be right now? And what are they doing? What's going to happen? And it's literally, that's what the characters are trying to figure out as well. So I definitely tried to emulate, especially with the first scene, a bit of a Waiting for Godot like atmosphere. We keep referring to it as the void that they come from, where things haven't quite yet settled into place. And then the setting starts to take shape and the other characters start to take shape. If you find the beginning a little out there, that is by design, for sure.
Well, I find it really interesting that Stoppard has brought the characters to life in a backstage kind of way where you don't see the actors, but you see a continuation of who those characters are and what they're trying to find out and their existential place in the world of Hamlet in the backstage of the story. Mm-hmm. I find that fascinating. Reese, what for you is the greatest challenge in your portraying Rosencrantz in this story?
There are many. Specifically, the wordplay, has been really challenging for me. it's also provided lots of really great opportunities to utilize my instrument in ways that I normally don't get to in straight plays. And so I get to do just a little bit of everything there. But yeah,
And Delaney plays a part in that too, right?
mm-hmm. Because the character doesn't have a lot of background, trying to create that character has definitely been challenging. And I had mentioned, really, just intentionally just playing the moment for everything that you have right there in the moment. What I started doing is I started using my dog as sort of a little bit of a reference for Rosencrantz. They have lots of similarities. Rosencrantz gets really excited very easily. He's very sweet. He's eager to please Guildenstern. He gets sad very quickly, but he recovers. So yes, trying to craft the character has been a little bit challenging in the sense that it hasn't been straightforward like in other plays.
And what do you hope that the audience takes away from this, Reese? Is there a universal lesson, or is it just deal with the absurd in the best way you can? What do you hope the audience is going to take away from this production?
Oh, man, I hope that they're incredibly entertained, and I hope that they leave asking questions, maybe even wanting to go and watch Hamlet to see. But just, that the conversation continues after they leave the theater. Some people won't like this play because of how absurd it is, which is great. And they will definitely have, be adding into the conversation as well.
Well, I bet they're going to talk about it, though.
Yes, exactly.
And John, what do you hope people are going to be talking about in the car on the way home?
I'm hoping that we provide enough of those fun moments, like the questions game, or we have some fun ways that we're playing with the visuals that I hope they go away going, wow, I wasn't expecting to see that on the stage, especially the way that we literally flipped the stage around really to play with that backstage idea. Yeah. I want them to feel like it's more of a ride that they are a part of.
Well, this production is going to be in the Arena Theater at Galle, which is the smaller black box theater to the side of the larger theater. And that's an intimate space.
Yeah.
So the audience is almost in the play with you. How are you utilizing the stronger connection with the audience in the arena as opposed to the larger theater?
While it would be nice to have more space to spread out for sure, yeah, the audience really feels like they are up in the action. And we've worked in several moments where we are deliberately tearing down that fourth wall and inviting the audience to almost be participants. Don't worry, they get to stay comfortable. But there are moments where characters might make eye contact with you and talk to you directly for a bit, just to really play with that mindset.
And there are several other actors that are in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about what kinds of characters they play.
So after Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, the next lead character is the player, a leader of a traveling acting troupe who also appears in the original Hamlet. She is played by Danielle Ross. And these characters in the original Hamlet serve to present a little bit of commentary on what's happening in the main action of the story, doing like a show within a show. And here we get to see those characters more fully fledged, and they take on more of a kind of a mystical guidance quality because they are actors, and the stage is their world, it is their life. So they seem to have a bit more mysteriousness to them, as well as a lot of playfulness, a very clownish troupe that we've concocted with them. And then we, of course, have the main Hamlet players. And I feel I gathered a good cast for, like, who would we see if Gallery Theater were to put on Hamlet? Who would we see as Hamlet and Claudius and Ophelia? And I told them, give me your Oscar-winning performances here. They have to be the true performers in this show.
Yeah, because the story goes on. I mean, while Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are not involved and not in the relationships with, Hamlet, Ophelia, Claudius, Gertrude, Polonius,
Yeah.
they still have their relationship that's going on. They're real people in the show.
Yeah.
If you've got actors coming and going to have relationships with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, everybody's dressed in Elizabethan garb, I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you have special props or things that you're using to keep the audience connected to Hamlet?
Yeah, we're playing with the idea that the audience at moments quite literally find themselves backstage, kind of in a dusty storage room, right? So you definitely get the stage props and you see how they are used in the story. And my little director calling card for every gallery show has always been to sneak a puppet or two in there as well. And we found some great moments where some puppetry gets utilized. So I'm excited about that.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, the great play by Tom Stoppard, is at Gallery Theatre April 17th through May 3rd. And it really is a fast-paced and intellectually playful comedy. It's absurdist. It's a walk behind the stage of that absurdity that Tom Stoppard wrote in 1966, and this play is still kicking it today. I've been talking with director John Hamilton and Reese Madden, the actor who plays Rosencrantz in this show. What a great time we had, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on KMUZ Theatre Talk.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's time to wind up today's KMUZ Theatre Talk. Thanks a million for listening and supporting our program. KMUZ Theatre Talk comes your way at 9 a.m. the first and third Friday of the month on KMUZ 100.7 and 88.5 FM. Also on KMWV FM Dallas at 98.3 HD2 and streaming worldwide at kmuz.org and on the KMUZ mobile app. If you'd like to share this program with your friends and hear more behind-the-curtain interviews, open your favorite podcast app and subscribe to KMUZ Theatre Talk. KMUZ Theatre Talk is proud to partner with the Mid-Valley Theatre Network and with Press Play Salem. I'll be back May 1st with a brand new KMUZ Theatre Talk program and podcast. Until then, I'll see you in the front row.